Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session on story makers once again. Today, we're back with a very interesting guest, Sumit Sharan. He grows his own mushrooms. He's the owner of Shroomry. He's growing his mushrooms for a while now, and he's growing them in Manesar, which is in Gurgaon in India. Hello, Sumit, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Rata. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm going to really ask you the first question. I think that's on everybody's mind. It's like, why mushrooms, and what really inspired you to get into, growing mushrooms?
So food experiences was something I was way more interested in, say, other experiences. That combined with the idea that I was someone who just always wanted to at some point grow something at home. But that got combined with doing some research in terms of what is growing in India. And, one of the things I came across was that besides your regular white color button mushroom, none of the other mushrooms are easily available in the market. Being a vegetarian, mushrooms was something I used to consume quite often in my food. Not consciously, it was just something that I would just get attracted to naturally. That, okay, let's try this. So it was one of those things. So never obviously at that time thought of growing them. It was just more for eating. So I started looking at, I know about all these other mushrooms that exist, but they're not easy to find. And then when I looked at restaurants, they also, I used to see that a lot of them were basically importing mushrooms and using them. So the second point then became important as to if people are using them, people are eating them, then why are they importing them? Why is it not available locally? And then thirdly, I did a bit of research on how to grow them. So the internet and there are a few places in India where one could go and learn about that. So all of this information combined basically told me that it was quite a big gap that existed in the market. So that's how it worked. It was basically more of a figuring out what's interesting to grow. Is there a market potential for it? And then finally, going down to actually trying out and seeing that whether it is something that I'd like to do. It was kind of like a step-by-step process in that sense.
So which varieties are you growing?
Today, we grow a lot of varieties. We're doing almost 6-7 varieties now. So we started with oyster. There are 2 varieties in that, like a white and a pink oyster. Then we started doing portobello mushrooms, which is kind of like a bigger version of a button mushroom. Then we started doing king oyster. That's a very popular mushroom amongst restaurants. They use quite a lot of it, and pretty much 99% of king oyster mushroom in the market that is used across India, not just Delhi NCR, is all imported. There's a huge potential. That's why for anyone growing it right now. Then there is shiitake. That was something that was on my to-do list for a very long time because it's a very popular mushroom. Then along the journey, we came across another mushroom that's more native to India and Southeast Asia. It's called a milky mushroom. And it's actually one of the few mushrooms that requires a higher temperature to grow. Most mushrooms actually require a low temperature, which is why you find them in the forest, after the rains. It's a high humid environment. It's low temperature. Those are very sort of ideal conditions for mushrooms. And then there are a couple of other ones. Another one is called wood ear mushroom. Again, something used a lot in Chinese food. So that's another variety. Culinary or sort of gourmet mushrooms. Basically meaning that their main application is in food. But the other stuff is basically what they call medicinal mushrooms. Mainly their application is more for medicinal purposes, as the name implies. We've tried our hand at some of those as well. It's something we want to do in the future.
But what's your favorite mushroom?
So a bunch of them, I really like the portobello mushroom. I think it's quite versatile. It's quite, chunky, meaty. A lot of things you can do with it. So that's one of the mushrooms. And the second one I would say, which everyone likes a lot, is shiitake mushroom. So these are 2 mushrooms I quite like in terms of just what they, just the taste, I would say, and nothing else.
And your favorite favorite dish out of it?
Well, a couple of things. One is to make a pasta. So that's a kind of a pretty easy thing to do, or like a stir fry. And then another thing that's very nice to do is you can grill a big piece of a portobello mushroom and make it into a burger patty. As a vegetarian, there are not many options when you go in the market when you look at a burger. So a mushroom burger is something that's nice and it's different.
And if people like us want to grow mushrooms at home, what do we need?
We actually do a lot of workshops in the winters when it's the ideal temperature to grow mushrooms at home. We have a 1 to 2 hour workshop. We teach everything from start to finish. It can easily be taught over Zoom or in person. Most of the materials are easily available at home, and those that are not, we actually give you as part of the workshop. The temperature and the other factors that kind of require are more prevalent during, say, the October or November to, say, Feb period.
So India as a market, what is that like for mushrooms? You said that you've got a good response from all the restaurants, but I mean, is it still a nascent market, or is it like caught on? And because like people are traveling and they travel around the world and they like to enjoy good food, gourmet food. So how is India doing in terms of a market?
I mean, it's still catching up. I think there's still a lot of people who don't know much about mushrooms besides the ones you find in the market. I mean, a lot of people think that's the only one that exists actually.
Yeah.
So I think we've seen a few kind of observations, I would say, over the last 2-3 years. One is there is one set of people who know a lot about them, right? So we don't have to even tell them anything. They look at our menu and they're like, okay, this is what I want, right? These are people who've typically lived outside India for a long time, say something like the US or the UK. They've had access to these mushrooms and they've really enjoyed them. So now they're very glad that once they've moved back, they still have access to these mushrooms. So that's sort of one category of mushrooms I've seen. The second is people who don't know much about them, but have done their research or ask us a lot of questions, but they really want to try. So there are a lot of experimentative people. They could be home cooks. They just could be passionate cooks. The third is people who hear from these people and then want to kind of try them out. Now, these people need a lot more kind of convincing because they're a little wary of the price point, because these mushrooms are a little more expensive to grow and they're more expensive than your usual mushroom. So they're always worried, why do I have to pay so much for it, right? So there is that. But then once they try it, more often than not, we've found people ordering again because they like it. Then they don't look at the price again, because for them, if I've liked it, then I will try it again. Education is low, especially in the consumer market. But in the business market, like the B2B segment, restaurants and retailers, there it's quite a lot, because those guys have anyways been importing and using them, right?
Yeah.
So for them, the education is there. Now they're more concerned about, okay, can I get it regularly? Can I get it as and when I want it? So the questions are more of those type.
Yeah.
So still catching up. I think there's a lot that can go around. A lot of people weren't aware that these mushrooms exist. They're not aware of how they taste or how you can cook with them. So we do a lot of social media stuff around cooking with mushrooms. That's a big goal for us this year on educating people, because we feel if you inspire them on how to cook with them, then that will maybe lead them to try them out. But there are a lot of things one can do with mushrooms. So we have a lot of exciting collaborations that we're doing right now, which have not yet been put out. Some of them have been, and some of them are in the pipeline. For example, we started making, this was not a collaboration, this was an in-house product. So the idea was not just give you mushrooms, but also try to sell you mushroom-based products. So things that are using mushrooms that we grow at our farm. So for example, we made a mushroom hummus. Hummus was something we saw people were consuming a lot during the lockdown. Different variants, you'll have an olive hummus, you'll have a chili hummus and things like that. So we thought, okay, why not a mushroom hummus? So we made one for ourselves. It was really nice. We sold it within our society during the lockdown. Everybody loved it. So then we started selling it, properly through our, channels. Then we started working with a pasta maker. She makes fresh pasta, different kinds. So we worked with her where we give her our mushroom powder and she uses that in the dough and makes a mushroom pasta out of it. So that was very interesting for us. And then a few other things like, we're working on breads using mushrooms.
Yeah.
So much so that actually a lot of mushrooms, they have very varied, kind of when you're talking about health benefits, they have a lot of health benefits, not for example, body pain or things like that, but also for skincare. So in Japan and Korea are huge two markets on skincare products. And a lot of the skincare products that are used there actually have mushrooms in them, very specific kind of mushrooms. And those properties that those mushrooms offer can't be found in other natural products. So they use a lot of mushrooms in their products. So we started to work with a company over here. It's something still under wraps. We're hoping to release that in a month or so, where we worked with that company to come out with a couple of, kind of hair care products using mushrooms.
Oh.
So again, something you wouldn't think of naturally, but for us, it's a very good kind of diversification in the field of mushrooms. So because, so that's where we're kind of going now. Like, there's a whole health benefit, there's a whole taste aspect to it. And then there are other benefits which people don't know about and we want to bring forth to them through these collaborations.
I'm feeling very hungry now and looking forward to getting better hair with whatever's coming in the pipeline. Sounds really exciting. Sumit, I think not only me, but all of yours are also going to be very hungry and they'll be delighted to try all your mushrooms. And thank you so much for joining us. And good luck with Shroomri. And Sumit's also become a father recently. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope this will be something interesting for your viewers as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.